Okay, here's how I make pickles. These are dill pickles, the kosher sort of fermented briny pickles that you get at a good deli, not the vinegar-based pickles that you see so commonly. And I always, I guess I'll just run over what I'm using. You know, I have some pickles here I found at a local farmer's market. You'll want to use fresh, kind of local pickles, cucumbers rather, because they'll coat them with a food-grade wax, the ones you buy in the supermarket. And what starts this fermentation is some bacteria which is on the skin itself. And so if you wash them too vigorously, and these have already been washed, but if you wash them too vigorously, you'll take off the bacteria and you won't get a good fermentation. And I also have some fresh dill that I bought. And I like to buy this fresh dill. In the supermarket they get $2.50 for a little bundle of this. You could buy a whole plant like this at a nursery for $2.50, and I'll only use pretty much the top of this, and then the rest of it I can leave outside for the next batch of pickles. It'll be even bigger when I'm ready for it. I have some fresh garlic, some jalapenos. A lot of the recipes call for pepper flake, but I like to use fresh jalapenos. Gives it a fresher kind of a chili flavor. And I like to use the whole black pepper instead of ground. And what else do we have to cover? I'm going to end up using about 1.5 gallons of water or so, and I'll measure it up. If you don't use enough salt, you can end up with kind of a rot problem. You don't want that. You want good, crispy, properly fermented pickles. And the purpose of the salt is to inhibit the growth of other organisms that you don't want, and only allow the bacteria that comes on the skin here to do its job. I like to use this salt, and a lot of the time people use what's called pickling salt, and the only difference is the grind. You don't want to use a salt like this, which is an iodized salt. You need iodine for your health, but you don't need it in your pickles. And this is coarser than pickling salt, but I do it by weight, so I don't have to worry. And you could also use a sea salt if you like, but I don't think you'll notice any difference in taste. And this costs a little more than this costs. So stick with the kosher salt. I'll probably use 6 ounces per gallon. So if I put about, let's start with 3 ounces and I'll do a half gallon. I have 4 ounces. And I'll use a little extra water to make it up. So there's my 4 ounces of salt. I put it in this pitcher because it's easy to stir. Now there's all my water measured out, and put the salt in there, and I just stir it. This way I'll prepare all the vegetables first, put them in my containers, and then top it off with this brine. Now it looks cloudy for now, but that'll really clarify after all the air rises up out of it. Alright. So the first thing I do is all the spices. I like to put a lot of garlic. Who doesn't love garlic? And I just sort of chop this up a little. You don't really need it to mince it up too much, but there you go. That's good. These are my jars. They're not really jars, they're just plastic containers. But like I say, these won't last very long. They'll only be in the fridge for each one. I'll go through them pretty quickly. I might even bring a tub into work for the guys at work. Cut jalapenos like that. I put the seeds and everything. It gives them a little bit of a bite. You know, I don't want them so hot that my kids can't eat them either. but I do like them to have a little something to them. So I'm going to take I'm going to try to split these into about thirds, about 3 equal amounts. And I'll put some in this one, some in that one, some in that one, and the garlic, same thing. I'll put about about a third of it in there, about a third of it in there, and about a third of it in there, I guess. Let's see how I've done pretty well. Okay, and the pepper, I'm going to put, oh, I don't know how much. That might be almost a teaspoon of black pepper. About a teaspoon. It's not a science, you know. And I even like to take a little piece of dill and put it right down in the bottom. See, I'm clipping it right off the plant here, see? That one. There's a nice tip right there. Maybe I'll take that whole stem off. And I'll use this piece and maybe this piece and maybe that. We'll go for a lot of dill. And then this part I'll put right outside. The sun will hit that bad boy and I'll get a new sprout right out of here. New one here, new one there. Don't buy the stuff at the grocery store if you can help it. In the wintertime you have to, I guess. I'll even take this stick, you know, and put those guys in too. And I'll put this in there. Alright. And I think I'll save these to sort of put in halfway, you know, when I get them halfway filled. Alright? Alright. I'll set that aside. I'll cut up some pickles and put those guys in there. I like to do them in half if I can. You definitely want to cut the ends off because the end where the flower was, that's this end. The end where the flower was, not the stem end, but the end where the flower was, has an enzyme on it that inhibits the fermentation. Interesting, huh? I didn't know that either. And then, I don't want to come off like I'm some kind of know-it-all, I just looked this up on the internet. And, well, I cut both ends off, that way there's no mistaking it. But the enzyme that's in the tip will tend to make the cucumbers soft. It'll give it kind of a softer consistency. So if you want a crisper pickle, I'm told, cut the end off. If the pickles are too big, you can always do pickled chips. You can always just cut them. I've done a couple that way. I'll show you one that I did that way in just a moment. I got one right around the corner here that I did chips because the cucumbers were so big. Okay, I got one more in there that'll do. There's a good one. I hope I have enough, or we'll see. There's a good one too. I hope I have enough to fill 3 containers. I think they like halves the best. I've done halves, I've done quarters, I've done whole pickles, I've done the chips. They're all good. It just depends on what size container you want them in. Alright, now I'm going to take some of this dill before I get it too packed in. I like to stick a piece down in there like that. Stick a piece down in like that, so that's just right down in there. And I think I'll try to pack another couple of pickles in there. Pack them tight if you can. You don't want them to float up if you can help it. You want them to stay submerged the whole time that they're fermenting. You can be a little rough with them if you need to. There you go. See that? Fit one more over here somewhere. Huh? Well, maybe not. Right in there. Yeah, push it right in. That's good, huh? All right. That's one. Okay. Let's do the second one. I'm gonna get this thing in there. Told you. Alright. That really is it. Now I'm going to just take my brine water and pour it right on. Sometimes it's happened that I run out of water and I have to mix up a little more, but that's okay. It doesn't take long to do. In this case, well, and that's the whole story. I keep the lid on them, not too tight. Like anything that ferments, it's going to bubble, it's going to give off gas. You can leave these out at room temperature, 55 to 80 degrees, somewhere in there. And they will actually ferment. And you'll see them start to bubble. If you use nice clear water, they should stay pretty clear. You can buy distilled water if you want. I have really nice well water. I'm blessed to have a really good well, so I don't have to worry too much about that. I'll just set these aside for about 3 days or so, and I'll check back with you. Here's one that I've done recently of chips. These are just chips. You can see they're bubbling. See the bubbles coming up in there? And they're fermenting. They're really, they already smell like dill pickles. And this is one where you can see where I've held it down inside. All the pickles, I hold them down with a cookie cutter. Well, here are the pickles now. They've been, well, I put them in on a Monday night, and now it's Friday night. So it's been, well, 5 days. And let's have a look here and see. Actually, I guess it might be 4 days, right? Let's see how they look. Alright, well, I've already looked. I'm just doing this for drama. There they are. So you can see the liquid's gotten a little bit more cloudy. Almost seems a little thicker. And the pickles are all nicely submerged still. Some of the peppercorns have floated up. And you can see some of the bubbles from where it had fermented. And maybe I can zoom in just a little bit and maybe you can see a little better. There you go, huh? It really smells great. I mean, I can just smell that. Maybe I'll taste a little of the brine. This I haven't done yet, but I do it with practically every batch I've done so far. I just give it a little taste. You know, it tastes just like dill pickles. Ah, that's good. Well, now what I'm going to do is cap them up and put them in the fridge to get cold. And in the morning, I'll have some pickles. Okay, well, we'll get these pickles out of the fridge now and see how they are. Yeah. And again, that liquid's a little cloudy and kind of thick. There's a piece of a jalapeno floating on top. Let's see. See if I can zoom in here for you. How's that, huh? Yeah. It's pretty good looking, actually, huh? Let me get a plate and a fork. Let me get a plate and a fork, and we'll see how they are. Okay. Just shake all those bad boys. Look at that, huh? Oh. How does that look? Does that look pretty good? Let's see what we think. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, you can't buy them like that at the store. Wow.